อ๋องเร็วๆหน่อย
Tong and his family are poor farmers. They live in land, just 12 kilometers from the Cambodian border.
Situation 4, extreme danger, fighting within the camp compound. Situation 3, shells falling in camp, evacuate from danger zone.
If their life as peasants in a developing country wasn't already difficult, their situation is made all the more precarious by the fact that they're living in a war zone.
Situation 2, imminent danger, prepare to evacuate the camp. Situation 1, distant shelling, possible threat to camp.
But in spite of all the hardships, they still have two rights, fundamental dignity and self-respect. First, the right to work, to provide for themselves. And secondly, the right to move freely in their own country. Despite the numerous checkpoints in this military-controlled border area.
Situation 0, calm and peaceful. No activity in the vicinity of the camp.
From the so-called hidden border between Thailand and Cambodia, the Red Cross bring another war casualty to their field hospital in the Khao I Dang refugee camp. Since 1979, some 15,000 wounded soldiers have been treated here, and as a result of mines, the most common cause of injury, more than 2,000 legs amputated. These young soldiers were wounded fighting for the Cambodian resistance. Since 1979, when the Vietnamese invaded Cambodia and set up their allied administration, the Cambodian resistance have been fighting to regain control of their homeland. Cambodia, or Kampuchea as it's also known, is now caught between two powerful neighbors, Thailand and Vietnam. But once Cambodia was the center of a great civilization, an empire that controlled large parts of present-day Thailand and southern Vietnam. The magnificent temples of Angkor, completed in the 13th century, formed its capital. But with the decline of the empire, Angkor was abandoned, left to the jungle, only to be rediscovered in the 19th century. Today, Angkor symbolizes a dream of national unity. Through the ages, Buddha remained a living witness to the splendor of this past civilization. Populated by an easygoing, peaceful people in a land of plentiful resources, Cambodia provided ample food for its population. It was even a large rice exporter, while its rivers and lakes supplied fish in abundance. Rice and fish was the staple diet of its people. For nearly 100 years, Cambodia was a French protectorate. Then in 1953, it was granted full independence under Prince Norodom Sihanouk. Under his rule, Cambodia prospered. It was spared from the famine and political turmoil that affected many neighboring countries. He was popular with his subjects, but in trying to remain neutral over the Vietnam War and in closing his eyes to the North Vietnamese using Cambodia as a supply route to the south, Breakfast, the code name for the American bombing of Cambodia, began on the 18th of March, 1969. Internal troubles soon followed. The Phnom Penh middle class turned against Sihanouk. In 1970, he was deposed in a coup d'etat, led by his former Prime Minister, Lon Nol.
Pensez-vous que le Cambodge devienne un nouveau Vietnam?
Immediately, Lon Nol's Republican Army was involved in a civil war with the Khmer Rouge, the Chinese-backed Cambodian communists whose presence Sihanouk had earlier bitterly denounced, but with whom he now temporarily joined forces.
Vice-premier ministre du gouvernement royal de l'Union nationale du Cambodge, M. Khieu Samphan, en conversation cordiale avec moi. Il est bien vivant.
While anti-Khmer Rouge propaganda in the streets of Phnom Penh all too accurately predicted the future of Cambodia. On the 17th of April 1975, the Khmer Rouge took Phnom Penh. Out of a population of 7 million, between 1 and 2 million died as a result of brutality or starvation. The cities were evacuated. Their inhabitants sent to work in the rice fields. In December 1978, officially responding to cross-border attacks, the Vietnamese invaded Cambodia and captured Phnom Penh. To escape the fighting, seeking food and shelter, Cambodian refugees to Thailand, where an emergency operation was hastily set up to provide for their basic needs. Having consolidated their hold on Cambodia, the Vietnamese installed their allied government in Phnom Penh. Heng Samrin was appointed Prime Minister. While the world saw the full horror of the situation on the Thai-Cambodian border and learnt of the terrible suffering of the Cambodian people under the 4-year Khmer Rouge regime. Refugee camps were established in Thailand for the thousands of Cambodians arriving daily. From these camps, over 200,000 Cambodians were resettled in third countries. For a while, Thailand allowed these refugees onto its soil, but in 1980, fearing future security problems, it closed its border. New arrivals had to settle in makeshift camps on the Cambodian side of the border, where the three factions who had each in turn ruled Cambodia, the Sihanoukists, Republicans and Khmer Rouge, organized their own camps from which they recruited their separate resistance forces. In 1982, these three factions joined together to form the coalition government of Cambodia recognized by the United Nations. From these military-oriented camps, the Cambodian resistance launched their attacks against Vietnamese positions. But in 1984, the Vietnamese hit back, forcing the resistance to flee into Thailand. Women, children and civilian men were shifted to evacuation sites constructed on Thai soil, not as refugees, but as displaced people without status or protection under international law. They must remain in these camps until such time as they could return safely to the border area. Site B was the evacuation site for those loyal to Prince Sihanouk. Site 8 was living in camps under Khmer Rouge control, and Site 2 for the Republicans. While the soldiers of the Cambodian resistance, the majority of the men, regrouped along a several-kilometer-wide no-man's land between Cambodia and Thailand. A minefield now known as the Hidden Border.
Tiền có bằng ơi tức có trâu thơ mạch man tâu rô bơ song xa.
The United Nations handles the day-to-day logistics of transporting 3 million litres of water daily to these camps and of distributing 900 tons of foodstuffs a week. In Site B live some 50,000 followers of Prince Sihanouk, while the Khmer Rouge-controlled Site 8 accounts for some 35,000 Cambodians. But by far the biggest is Site 2, the camp of the Khmer People's National Liberation Front. Situated less than 2 kilometers from the border, Site 2 has a present population of over 170,000. In these temporary evacuation sites live more than 250,000 Cambodians. Well over half of this population is under 15 years of age. Children who only know camp life and queuing for rations.
When I lived in Cambodia, I had 5 acres of land. I had rice fields and an orchard. We worked according to the different seasons. Otherwise, we could play and laugh as we wished. We could go anywhere we wanted, because it was our land. It was our country. But here we have nothing. We depend totally upon others. If they breathe, we can breathe with them. But if they stop breathing, we will die immediately. In 1979, my daughter's husband left home to become a soldier. 6 months later, we came to the border to join him at Kokrum camp. When the Vietnamese attacked Kokrum camp, we ran to another camp. When they attacked this camp, we ran to Retison camp. After they attacked Retison camp, we went to Bang Phu camp. Later, we were moved from Bang Phu here to Site 2. Living conditions are better here than in the previous camp. But we are so close to the Vietnamese, we can even hear the ringing of their lunch bell. We are more worried at night than during the day. If we are attacked in the daytime, it is easier for us to gather all the children and flee. But if during the nighttime we are attacked, in the panic we might not recognize our children from the other children, and we can easily become separated from each other.
ធ្វើស្រែលើឡានណាព្រោះថាវាមិនឡានមិនមកទេស្រុកស្កកនេះមិនមានស្អីទេ
In Cambodia, everything had its season. During the rice growing season, we farmed the rice. Then there was the season to look for fish, another to collect firewood. But here there are no seasons. We no longer know what we did in this season or that season. We just wait to receive the aid.